so is the tension rising with the sounds of verbal protests and counter-protests, with both sides refusing to concede any ground. Well, those verbal protests have taken on a more frightening tone recently, with the Minister of Information, MOHAMMED, accusing Mr. Peter Obi of the Labour Party of treason and of stirring up insurrection, charges Mr. Obi and his team have vigorously denied. But the minister has persisted in his accusations and has raised questions about whether the government has been balanced, fair and proportional in its response to the genuine grievances that many in the opposition feel about how the 2023 presidential election was conducted and the results that emerged from it. So, as the country continues to heat up and the inauguration draws ever closer, how much more tense are things likely to get? Reference on the political news and issues of the day. I'm joined now in the studio by the noted election and post-election socio-political analyst, Professor Didnt, who's also the founding National Secretary of the Alliance for Democracy. Thank you very much indeed for coming in.
It's a pleasure, Charles, to be with you once
more. You've
more.
got great sprite in your eyes.
Thank you so much.
It always tells me that you're blazing intellectually once again.
I don't know about that, but let's just have a crack at it.
How alive would you say Nigerian politics is right now? I mean, you've got the world waiting to hear from the judiciary and hoping that the judges will deliver justice. We've got the country on tenterhooks amid accusations of treason and religious and ethnic incitement, threats of arrest, etc. Is this a momentous political moment for Nigeria?
A momentous political moment means that our democratic practice is alive. I don't know whether it is heady, because to live doesn't mean to be in a heady form. You talked about momentous events, you talked about narratives and counter-narrative, protests and counter-protests, accusations and counter-accusations. These are signs of the vibrancy of a tradition. But whether it is signs of a vibrant decay of that tradition, or even vibrant decomposition of the post-colony, only time will tell. What I can say for sure is that there's always a noted tension between constitutional governance and democratic practice. What do I mean by this? The Constitution is a text that guides virtually everything we do in an organized system like ours. The practice is what you derive from the text. The first arm is the assembly, the parliament that makes the law. The second is the executive that implements, and the judiciary that adjudicates, and then civil society, the media, and the rest of us that actually live our life in a democratic system. When the life we lead conflicts with the constitutional provisions, tension is noted. For example, what do I mean? If an election is organized in a fraudulent manner and result declared not in concert with the expectations of the people, there's a wide gulf between constitutional order and practice. This is what happened with the Arab Spring. Virtually all the countries of the Arab Spring had constitutions, had parliament. They make laws. But when there is a gulf between the laws you make and the way the laws are implemented, and that gulf becomes wide by the day, people could decide to seek self-help. We wish that this democratic process does not end up at the level of self-help. For now, the key gladiators have been measured and restrained, those who feel hurt and injured by the result INEC declared after the 25th February presidential election. ATIKU of PDP is well restrained. He's gone to court. His deputy Governor Kowa is well restrained. He's gone to court. Peter Obi is well restrained. With that, I mean, well restrained. In spite of that, is very tough words. That's why they're seeking the judicial process for adjudication. So for anybody, either in government or out of government, to talk about fascism or fascistic behavior or insurrectional behavior or treasonable behavior is sorely unbecoming and completely irresponsible at this stage. The country is hurting and people are hurting. And what they need is an assurance from the powers that be, the government of the day, that justice will be secured. That's why the courts are there. What they need from INEC is to pick itself up from the total dignity, of its broken life, and they begin to think about what could have happened if we had done things in a different form. When it casts aspersions on people, you do not know the consequences of those aspersions it cast on them. I speak with a sense of responsibility. In 2011, like Mohammed is part of APC, 2011, our dear president, and I respect the institution of the presidency, and I respect the person of the president, they didn't behave properly. The dogs and baboons were caught up in blood. Hundreds of core members, youth corpus, young, vibrant boys and girls serving this country were cut down in the prime of their life. Thousands of houses were razed across the north because they felt injured by the result of that 2011 election. And millions poured out in the street. ATIKU hasn't done so, and neither has Obi done so. So for a government functionary like MOHAMMED to speak about treason in faraway America is irresponsible. And for a revived Wole and the Nobel laureate, we all respect him as a sage, as Kongi, to descend into the fray, having lost his moral compass in this particular circumstance, is equally very shocking for people like us who hold him in high esteem. So as we await the adjudication, adjudicatory processes unleashed by the judiciary from the tribunal to the Supreme Court, the debate must be robust. The engagement must be keen. Look at Paris. That's a doyen of European civilization. For months caught up in all these cycles of violence and petitions and protests and marches. That's the beauty of democracy. It can't shut down conversation. It can't tell ATIKU not to litigate or not to ask his supporters to protest peacefully.
Absolutely. The Labour Party, though, suggests that all these apparent threats are aimed at trying to focus attention away from the strength of their legal challenge against the president-elect. I wonder what your assessment is of how strong a case they've got and also that the PDP have.
I'm not a lawyer. Let me deposit that right up front. But I'm a thinking being. That's a sense of having been in school and having read well to the degree that no human being can bamboozle me with thoughts and opinions. So I know my way around the system. ATIKU Abubakar's case, I have the document. B2B's case, I have the document. But I carefully put out documents by well-selected legal minds. The two things that stand out on both documents, on the PDP and the Labour Party, is the depth of the data harnessed, the degree of the technical details devoted in mounting a robust legal challenge, and the mounting of evidence that we cumulatively, I believe, persuade the justices at the end of the day that the right thing must be done. What is the moral dimension of this catastrophe that befell the country in the form of this last presidential election? The moral contours of the nation is under threat, and Labour captured it well with the case of the president-elect in faraway America on drug-related matters. That has further been mainstreamed in the judicial conversation. When he's accused of treason, he must pick the person up and begin to interrogate to find out the conspirators, co-conspirators of that treasonable something. That people walk around free because they're Democrats who have persuaded themselves that they have to go through the judicial apparatus to seek for redress, and yet as a minister you're banning West treason and insurrection. That is meaningless.
Now let's turn to the elections tribunal and the legal challenges. You touched on it briefly that are coming up. I mean, some very well-respected lawyers, and no less a person than the former president of the Nigerian Bar Association,